Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where I don't actually remember what we were doing. I think we were about to... We have recovered Jessely from Orbital-Minmus. I think we were about to go to Minmus again and drop off our debris, right? Or not debris, our science experiments. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what we were doing. Jessely's capsule we don't need to keep around, and the Lunar Lander debris we don't need to keep around either. So we need to launch another craft here, and I had just gone in and put in a couple of extra waste canisters on the lander, if I recall correctly. That'll get us a bunch more time. Let's check before we go, mission control, and see what we might have here. Okay, not a lot going on here. This is in... Where is this? This is on Minmus, but this would be the large scanning arm, a rover scan. We're not going to be planning to do this, at least not right now. So currently we're going to be doing this. Dock 2 vessels on or around Minmus. This might be something that we can cheesily do. We will see. I'm not sure if that's going to be a thing or not. We're going to try to cheese it. And then beyond that, this is, yeah, understood. So just a couple of little things to do on Minmus. On or around Minmus. If we have to do separate missions for that docking mission, that's absolutely fine. I don't mind that. So that'll be okay. Let's open up our Lunar Lander here, of course. It should be this variant, which is the variant that has the additional capsules for waste here. So that'll be absolutely wonderful. We should be ready to launch this. Let's head to Minmus. We've got... Honestly, this is probably going to be our last trip to Minmus. I don't really foresee us doing much more there. Unless there's a quick hop over there to do a contract or something. We'll see. But for now, this is looking good. So let's throttle on up. Well, I guess we could grab this atmospheric analysis. So let's open this guy. I'm going to pin that, and I'm going to pin this, just for now. Okay, we'll run the atmosphere analysis, and we'll collect all of this data. Excellent. SAS on, although really we should be using smart ASS. There we go. We'll put this in kill rot for the time being. Throttle up, and off we go. Excellent. I'm going to move us over into orbital mode so that we can keep an eye on that prograde marker. Everything is looking good on that front. And I think we can be a little bit more aggressive with our gravity turn, probably. As long as we don't flip. Right? Flipping was bad. So I'm thinking maybe start our gravity turn fairly gently, somewhere around 5 kilometer apoapsis. Quite gentle. Quite gentle. So that's 4 kilometers. We could use MechJeb ascent guidance, and that would be probably the most efficient way to do it, but I like doing it manually. So we're going to head on over here. Honestly, I think a lot of the MechJeb automation takes the fun out of the game. Yeah, it's more efficient, but at what cost? I like doing this ourselves. Okay. Ooh, we got going a little quick there on that turn. I still want to be majoritively gaining altitude. So we're just going to keep moving over here. Our vertical speed is not terribly high right now. So I just want to slowly be heading over. Maybe we'll park at about 45 degrees here for a little bit. Grab this atmospheric analysis. Collect all this data. There we go. Yeah, our apoapsis is still not terribly high. So let's just park here for a little bit. SRBs are out of here. Actually, those are not SRBs, but boosters are out of here. They're probably going to collide with each other, right? Maybe not, actually, this time. They usually do. Okay, so we're at about 40 kilometer apoapsis. I'm going to lock us over to prograde at this point. And we're just going to burn prograde here until we hit about 60 kilometers, at which point we'll go to horizontal velocity up. And we're flying high over water at this point. I'm just going to close the service bay. We shouldn't need any more of that for the time being. So that looks good. So that is 60 kilometers on the apoapsis. I'm actually going to keep it here right now. We have a bit of a plasma sheath built up. We're not all that high at this moment. So I'm going to keep burning here until maybe around 80. The plasma sheath is gone now. Yeah, let's hop on over to horizontal velocity up from here. And we can just keep burning here for a while. We're going to be getting up pretty close to orbital speed. And we can just keep burning here till like 150. That's not going to be very much more on the burning. This will be absolutely fine. We could even take this up to like 200. It'll probably be absolutely okay. Okay, a little further than this. 97, 98, 99, and 200, taking it to 201 because we'll have a little bit of drag. Okay, looks good. So we've still got 153 meters per second left in here. That's fine. And if we want to circularize this, of course, we're going to need to burn a little bit of DV to do that. So this is going to end up looking something kind of like this. Beautiful. So 282.4 meters per second, that's absolutely fine. Let's get our solar panels extended. There's a hotkey to extend solar panels, isn't there? G is landing legs. This is a light action group. And we could make an action group for it. I'm not sure if there is a hotkey specifically for solar panels, but I'll just manually do this. Making an action group is probably the right way to do it, though. Okay, let's physics warp our turn here. It's going to be fairly slow because we've still got a lot of mass here, right? So that's absolutely fine. Okay, about 6 minutes until this burn. Let's go. There we go. Now about 1 minute, 50 seconds, 40, 30, 20, 10, and 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. Okay, and let's stage here. We seem a little over gimbaled here, but the oscillation is getting under control. So we're not having a resonance here. Looks good. 20 meters per second, 10, and we'll just get this last little bit. We're in good enough of an orbit, to be honest. This doesn't really need any more. I say as I proceed to try to hit 0.0, but it's fine. Absolutely A-okay. Inclination change is, of course, the next move here, and we're going to be 4.8 degrees. Oh, okay, that's a little better. Obviously, ideally, we would want to launch into the correct plane, but I'm not bothering with that, obviously. Okay, 2 degrees, 1 degree, and that looks approximately correct right there. So we'll lock to that node, and let's rotate on over. Excellent. Okay, so there we are. We're now in position for that, and let's warp on around. About 5 more minutes here. Okay, 30 seconds, 20, 10, and 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. Okay, let's take a look at how we're doing on all of this. This should be absolutely fine. So what I'm looking at here is I'm looking at our amount of water compared to the amount of wastewater that we can store. Yeah, I think that needs to be roughly a 1-to-1 ratio. And carbon dioxide... Ooh, hang on. I was a little distracted. We overshot this. It's okay. Let's pull out of this tumble. Head around to the node. Yeah, I was distracted by this, and we overshot. That's my own fault, of course. Okay, let's correct this burn a little bit. 17.4 meters per second. 12 meters per second. 8, 6, 4, 2, and this is probably good enough. How are we looking? 0.1, it's good enough. We'll take it for now. So in that case, we're going to burn probably sometime around here-ish, if I had to guess. That's pretty close. Maybe a little bit more like over here. What's this looking like for the apoapsis? That's the Kerbal apoapsis. What I really want is a Minmus periapsis. We'll pin that open, and I don't want this open, but I do want this pinned. There we... no? Apparently it doesn't want to pin this periapsis. There we go. Now it's pinned. That's what I wanted to see. Okay, so now we're going to just do a slight adjustment here. Just trying to bring that periapsis down to somewhere around possibly 20-ish kilometers. Sure, something like this should work. So we'll align to that node. And let's bring this right on in. We're not going to nail that, I don't think, but as you can see, just about this entire transfer will happen with this stage. That's good. We'd like to soup that up a little bit more, but for the time being, this is fine. Okay, so we're going to warp for about 20 minutes here. And yeah, I think we're going to be way better off on our waist at this point. So that looks excellent. Okay, about 1 minute until this burn. 30 seconds. 20, 10, and 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. 1 minute and 24 seconds. Okay. We can physics warp that burn a little bit. That'll be okay. So this is a fair amount of delta V to get us out there, of course. It's going to be basically, it is going to be this entire stage. We're going to have to burn a teeny tiny little bit from this in order to get ourselves there. That's okay. So we've got a few meters per second left here. Yeah, so we're going to have to burn like 7 meters per second here. Hilarious. A little bit more here, 2 meters per second, 1 meter per second, and we're going to call that good. Okay, what did we get? I can't actually read it. Okay, let's check over here. That's a little higher than I'd like it to be. If we burnt prograde here, that's going to bring it up. Okay, so we want to be over on retrograde, and I'm going to thrust limit this engine down quite a lot. Not 0, but to 0.5%. There we go. So we're just flipping around to retrograde here. I'm going to do a small corrective burn here. I want to bring this periapsis in, and we're going to need to adjust our orbit to get to the experiment control station, obviously, but that's relatively fine. I'm hoping that we don't end up landing in darkness, though. Okay, let's just bring this down a little bit. That's about 90 kilometers. 80. 70. 60 kilometers. 40 kilometers. 30. That's about 20. Okay. So engine shut down, and we'll bring our thrust limiter back up. At this point, we should honestly be warping to right here. So, okay, this is spinning quite a lot. So I'm not too concerned about darkness then. That seems okay. So we'll bring ourselves on in here. Fantastic. The current location is here. That's acceptable. So we're entering Sphere of Influence of Minmus now, and at the periapsis, I want to add a braking burn, and we're just going to bring this all the way down. Not quite that down, because we're going to need to do some inclination changing, right? Definitely. We're going to need to do some inclination changing. So that's going to be interesting for sure. So we'll just circularize this a bit and have it be, you know, something kind of like this. This is probably good enough. That's very sensitive. Okay, sure. That works. So we'll position ourselves out over here. And this is going to be 163 meters per second. Here's Minmus up here. It's a ways away. We're about 2.5 hours from this burn, so let's warp on in. Excellent. So the phase of our orbit isn't particularly good right now for where we want to be landing. We want to be way down here, right? So that's going to be a little bit of delta V to get that done. That's understood. It shouldn't be a big deal. Okay, so we've got about 17 meters per second. Okay, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. Okay, so let's bring this right on down. That's going to be about a 45-second burn, and I want to set this as our target. Now, you can see this is our ascending-descending node here. It's significant. This is not actually how I'm going to get there. We're in target mode right now, and I want to switch over to aiming at the target. Now, this is going to... The target's right out over here. This is not necessarily what we want to do, but I want to enter orbit here. And we could just kill our horizontal speed overall. That's a theoretical option, and an interesting one at that. Our camera is in orbital mode right now. Okay, that's fine. Okay, that's good for now. Put ourselves in orbital retrograde. Or actually just horizontal velocity minus. So we can kill our horizontal speed and then just fly over this direction. It's like, it's within sight right now, right? So that looks okay. And at this point, I want to head to, like, target at this juncture, but I want to be up over here. So I want to head towards the target, kind of like this. Right? So that's going to shift our trajectory, and in fact, we might want to overcorrect this a little bit out over this way. For the moment. Okay, so let's just burn basically at the target for now. And yes, I know that this is going to be burning pretty down. We're going this way right now, so we actually need to be burning out over this direction, now that I think about it. I was thinking about it invertedly. Okay, so you can see our vertical speed is dropping right now. And this is going to be a pretty high DV maneuver for what we're getting out of it. But this should pretty well do the trick. So you can see here, the descending node is about minus 90 at this juncture. And this is looking reasonably fine for now. Okay. So we're just waiting for this to cross over, right? We're trying to get the prograde node to be basically right here. That's the goal. And it's getting very, very close at this juncture. Very, very close indeed. Okay, that looks pretty good there. So we're going to want to go into orbital retrograde. And we're going to want to shave off a bunch of this speed. We've got too much speed at this moment. You can see we are in an escape trajectory. That's not surprising. So this is fine for now. And we're going to burn retrograde here, or really horizontal velocity minus is really what we're interested in. So we're just going to burn fairly gently here, bringing ourselves... Actually, this is going to be a fairly aggressive burn for right now. But we're going to try to put our landing zone right about here. I want to overshoot it a bit. So that looks good for now. Okay, we're going to be exiting orbital right about now. We are now in an impact trajectory. And everything's looking pretty okay here. Once again, I want to be about here on where we're going to land. I guess it's going to be like over here. Okay. We may want to burn out over this direction a little bit. Yeah, like out over here at about 90 degrees. About there. Okay, we'll go to surface velocity minus for the time being, and we are going to coast for a little bit. Let's go ahead and extend our landing legs. And we can see we're about 30 kilometers away from our landing site at this juncture. And I want to see... it looks like we are slightly off here. That's not surprising. We'll do a correction on the way in. For now, I want to warp in a little bit closer. So we're going to head to about here. This is about 2 minutes in the future. I don't feel like this is accurate. Half an hour? This is saying 28 minutes, or no, this is saying 2 minutes to get here. Okay, this is accurate now. It wasn't accurate because of the warp. Gotcha. So that's fine for now. We're going to be wanting to shed a bunch of this speed, right? So we want to be in... Okay, so this is surface velocity. Gotcha. Okay, surface mode is absolutely fine for right now. We're going to continue to coast in for a little bit here. We've got a fair amount of horizontal speed here, and it's building up. So that is absolutely a concern. But we've overshot this deliberately because we're going to be burning as we come in here, and we're going to be landing more like here. But we're probably going to try to dial that in a little bit more on the way in. So that should be fine. We're going to do our landing burn at like T-minus 30 seconds, I think. So let's just take this in a little closer. This number is wildly off while we're warping, but when we come out of warp, we can see what the real number is. So it's about 1 minute. That's fine. For the moment, I still want to go until we're pretty much right over the target, or a little before it, realistically. But we're on a good trajectory here. We're now about 7 kilometers away from the target. 6.5, and continuing to approach. We can see we're about 40 seconds here, and yeah, I'm going to keep an eye on this. I want to start up this burn relatively soon. I think it's a little too early still yet, maybe at about T-minus 20. This is getting close. Yeah, I'm starting the burn now. So I'm keeping an eye on this position. It's not changing much yet, but it will soon. So we're going to overshoot this a little bit, it looks like. That's okay. We're going to bring this down, and we're going to keep burning out this direction. Yeah, we are definitely overshooting it, so I want to be at horizontal velocity minus, but actually, I'm just going to put us on kill rot for right now. I want to drop our horizontal speed down and then start building it back up. Our vertical speed is dropping at the same time. That's okay. We're now starting to go this direction again. Okay. So now let's put ourselves over at surface velocity minus. And we can see, yeah, we're overshooting this a little bit this way, but we're much, much lower on our surface velocities. So that looks great. I don't know where our landing site is yet. I haven't seen the bullseye here. It's kind of hard to make out. I will let you know the moment I see it. Okay, horizontal velocity minus. I'm doing a small horizontal velocity minus burn at this point. Okay, 10 meters per second, and let's bring that on down. Okay, it's basically gone, our horizontal velocity at this moment. We're pretty much pure vertical, and we're coming down a little too far over here. That's fine. We'll adjust this as we come down. As we can see, we're about a minute away here, and what I really want to do right now is I want to actually push this node in over here a little bit. That should get us pretty close to what we're looking for. So we're just building up a little bit more horizontal velocity, and we don't need much. This is just a very, very small corrective burn at this point. There. That looks correct. Surface velocity minus, and we will see how this is. I still don't see the bullseye. Oh, there it is. I see it right there. So in that case, bringing ourselves out over this direction. I'm adjusting the bullseye here. That looks good. Okay. So we can see it's very, very close there. Everything is looking good. So we're going to sit on surface velocity minus, and we're going to start this burn at about T-minus 5 seconds. Landing legs are deployed. So 13, 12, 11, 10 seconds, 8, and burning. So there will be a little bit of drift here. That's understood. Okay. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Just take us to surface velocity minus. Thank you very much. I want to adjust this a little bit once again. It doesn't require much adjusting. That's pretty good. But a little bit more here. We're moving at about 5 meters per second right now. That's absolutely understood. Okay. And let's bring this nice and down. Okay, we're moving at about 3 meters per second, 2.5. And let's put this in up. Okay. And here we are. Excellent. Landed 22 meters away, 22.6. I like it. It is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we are going to deploy our remaining science that we need to do here, do whatever we can as far as data goes, but it's not going to be much. And then we're going to head on back. This is probably our last mission to Minmus. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.